They've got to double down on doing more interviews and serious interviews, because what I'm hearing from Democratic and Republican business people and a lot of men, and she's got such a big problem with men. I think there's an undercount of the Trump vote. I think there is misogynation in all of this, black and white men. Big problem, but also the business world. They don't think she is serious. They don't think she's a heavyweight. And a lot of this is gender, but she's got to be more specific about her economic plans.
That's NBC host Andrea Mitchell and a panel of establishment media shills reluctantly acknowledging that maybe, just maybe, it wasn't a good strategy for pretend journalists and their liberal overlords to chastise and belittle men 24/7. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Democrats are in a real panic after discovering that Trump recently flipped 19 states in the week of Harris's media blitz on low testosterone shows like The View, Stephen Colbert, and Howard Stern. Now they're looking to desperately court the male voters they've been bashing by having Obama put on his mom jeans and do a rally where he wagged his finger, insulted them, and talked down to them like a naggy woman. Here's Republican Scott Jennings on CNN absolutely ripping this insane strategy to shreds.
I mean, this is a political party that thinks gender is just a state of mind, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, we have trouble with moderate biological males. I mean, who is surprised about this? I think Democratic Party elites like Obama and like others have been viciously attacking Donald Trump since 2016. And everything they've said about him is what they have always said about him. And I don't think it's particularly effective right now. I think their problem isn't attacking Trump. Their problem is finding reasons to give people to support Kamala Harris. This stop he made in this plea he's making to African-American men. I mean, he said today he insulted them. I mean, he, first of all, admits that they're not enthusiastic about her. He said, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president, and you're coming up with other alternatives and reasons for that. And I think one thing we've seen about Democrats over the years is that when they can't convince you to do something, they begin to insult you. Obama specifically, when he was having trouble with rural voters in Pennsylvania, go back all the way into his campaigns, he insulted them about their culture and values. I don't think it's helpful to insult a group of people who are already not enthusiastic about your campaign, but I think that's what he did today. The story tonight is they're struggling with men, Obama's insulting men, and they're out saying, well, let's fix it by sending Tim Walz out and hiring Mitt Romney. It's crazy to me.
I'm sorry, this is not a campaign strategy to name Mitt Romney the Secretary of State.
Are you agreeing?
I don't
This is a suggestion in a report.
Exactly. I don't think we should force any candidate to name who their cabinet is prior to even winning. I think they should be out there talking to voters.
I totally agree with that.
See? Wow.
Complete agreement with that.
Scott Jennings, Ashley Allison agreeing.
Gee, who would have thought that obsessing over reproductive health, childless cat lady memes, and choosing an effeminate running mate who champions backwards gender confusion for kids would be a bad strategy to win over the male vote? But it gets worse, because in addition to having Obama publicly shame men at a rally, they've decided to have Tim Walz do a live stream on World of Warcraft, a GMA interview in a football field, and go pheasant hunting on social media. Oh, and that's ignoring the real ad that Democrats rolled out to appeal to men that feels more like an SNL skit.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
I'm a man, man.
And I'm man enough.
I'm man enough to enjoy a barrel-proof bourbon.
Neat.
Man enough to cook my steak rare.
Man enough to deadlift 500, then braid the out of my daughter's hair.
You think I'm afraid to rebuild a carburetor? I eat carburetors for breakfast.
I ain't afraid of bears.
That's what bear hugs are for.
I'll tell you another thing I sure as shit am not afraid of. Women.
I'm not afraid of women.
I'm not afraid of women.
They want to control their bodies? I say go for it.
They want to use IVF to start a family? I'm not afraid of families.
They want to be childless cat ladies?
Have all the cats you want.
Woman wants to be president?
Well, I hope she has the guts to look me right in the eye and accept my full-throated endorsement.
Because I'm man enough to support women.
Man enough to know what kind of donuts I like.
Man enough to admit I'm lost, even when I refuse to ask for directions.
Man enough to not ban young women from reading Little Women.
Or one of those pants books that the sisters like.
I'm man enough to raw dog a flight. It sucked. Not worth it.
I'm man enough to be emotional in front of my wife.
In front of my kids.
In front of my horse. I'm man enough to tell you that I cry at Love Actually. Good Will Hunting.
West Side Story.
That and Predator.
And I'm sick of so-called men domineering, belittling, and controlling women just so they can feel more powerful. That's not how my mama raised me.
I love women.
I love women who support their families.
Women who decide not to have families.
Women who take charge.
And I'm man enough to help them win.
Yup, nothing says being a man than sitting like this and BSing with your totally straight, normal man buddies about how much you love Kamala Harris. By the way, this is the type of thing you get when you have man-hating, childless cat ladies make content targeting men, and it absolutely highlights how the left is completely incapable of understanding their opposition. I mean, for crying out loud, they can't even get a proper fat guy. This guy looks like he's more interested in his Funko doll collection and his unhealthy obsession with adult websites than he is sports or doing anything close to manual labor. If this is the best Democrats can manage, I think Trump's chances just increased greatly, especially since it was just announced that he's going to be doing Joe Rogan's podcast. But let me know what you think. Why can't Democrats appeal to men? Is it because they've done nothing but incessantly crap on them for decades? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!